ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम नारायण नारायण नारायण। We were discussing, we just started Siddhanta. Purvapakshi completed his argument and we just started the Siddhanta. Okay, let us see. अत्रोच्यते सर्वमेवेदम अयुक्तम यत्तावदुच्यते देहादेरन्योन्य अध्यासे उभयोरपि असत्व प्रसंगः इति. See, he takes first Siddhanti told what Purvapakshi says is wrong, is not right. How, why? He takes point by point and rebuts. He takes Purvapakshi's argument point by point and rebuts. Yat tavaduchyate dehader anyonya adhyase. If Atma and Anatma are mutually superimposed, that is Atma and the body. If Atma and the Deha are mutually superimposed, the problem would be, which Purvapakshi suggested, the problem would be we would land up in Shunyavada where neither of them exist. Neither body exists nor Chaitanyam exists. Because the reason Purvapakshi already told. You told first one point, he took it and stretched, you see. One point of Siddhanti, Purvapakshi took it and you see how he imagined to another level. What was the point of Siddhanti? That the body exists only during Adhyasa. Outside Adhyasa, independent of Adhyasa, body doesn't exist. In the absence of Adhyasa, body has no existence. Body appears to exist during Adhyasa. Therefore, even that appearance is only due to Adhyasa, only within Adhyasa, and independent of Adhyasa, no body at all. This was Siddhanti's point. And taking this Siddhanti's point, stretching it further, taking its implication further, Purvapakshi told, if Atma, Anatma are both are mutually imposed, then the problem would be like this. If Atma is superimposed and then in the superimposition, Atma exists only under superimposition, then independent of superimposition, Atma doesn't ceases to exist. Just as the body also appears to exist only during Adhyasa, without Adhyasa, no body. Then the same thing should be applied to Atma also. That's how the Purvapakshi applied. Purvapakshi stretched it, that there he went wrong. This point is true regarding that it exists, that it appears to exist, that it appears only during Adhyasa. Without Adhyasa, Deha has no existence. Deha and entire the world. Why? The entire world, body and entire Anatma, body and the remaining etc., entire world, the entire Avastha appears to exist only during Adhyasa. Without Adhyasa, no world at all, no body and no world. Just as body doesn't appear to exist without Adhyasa, similarly, Atma also, only during Adhyasa it should appear, and in the absence of Adhyasa, it ceases to exist. Then what happens? In the absence of Adhyasa, neither body exists nor Atma exists, there will be only Shunyavada. This was the argument, this was the implication Purvapakshi took from the one statement that the body appears to exist only during Adhyasa. Anadhyasta Atma Bhava, without Adhyasa, body has no perception. So that means body is only a perception and it appears only during its perception and without it no body at all. This he stretched it to Atma. That is the mistake of Purvapakshi. To this, now the Siddhanti's answer, you see, See, you told Atma doesn't exist in the absence of Adhyasa. That means in the waking state alone you have Adhyasa, or when you find yourself to be Jiva, when you find your samsara. During samsara, when Atma is taken as a Jiva, during samsara, Atma is taken as a Jiva. Only during Jivahood alone is Atma seen. That means only Jiva Bhava. Atma is only Jiva Bhava. But in reality, when there is no Adhyasa, there is no Jiva Bhava. When there is no Jiva Bhava, Atma doesn't exist. In fact, this is the argument of Buddhist. Buddhists exactly say this. Atma doesn't exist at all. This is exactly Buddhist view. But it is wrong. See here, Atma, see Purvapakshi's argument was, Atma only during Adhyasa, that means only during samsara, which means only as a Jiva. Only as a Jiva, only when you identify with the body, only when you are conscious of the body, there is consciousness. That means Purvapakshi's argument is like this: consciousness is consciousness only when you are conscious of the body. That means Atma is a Atma only when you identify with the body. That means only during Adhyasa, Atma is Atma. Atma is Atma only when you are a Jivatma. This is Purvapakshi's argument. Consciousness is consciousness only when you are conscious of the body. When you are not conscious of the body, consciousness ceases to exist. See, Atma is an Atma when you identify with the body. Atma is an Atma when you impose the Atma upon the body. Only at that time is Atma, otherwise there is no Atma. If this is the argument, then the Purvapakshi stretches this argument further and he says, in the absence of Adhyasa, that means when there is no Jiva Bhava, when there is no identification with the body, when there is no identification with the body, no Atma. When you are not conscious of the body, when you are not conscious of the Jiva Bhava, Atma ceases to exist. Because Atma is Adhyaropita, superimposed upon the Anatma, that is body and etc., only during Adhyasa if consciousness is found. In the absence of Adhyasa, that is when you don't identify with the body, when you don't identify as a Jiva, that means in the absence of Jivahood, when you are not conscious of your body, when you are not conscious of samsara, then Atma ceases to exist. Then that will be Shunyavada only. Siddhanti says, no, this argument you are stretching further. But that goes wrong. Why? Atma during Adhyasa is okay. But Atma is by its very nature independent of Adhyasa. It is independent of Adhyasa. It doesn't depend upon Adhyasa. Purvapakshi took it. Atma is found to exist only during Adhyasa. That means only as a Jivahood. Only when you identify with the body. Only when you are conscious of the body, only when you identify with the body, consciousness is there, Atma is there. Without that, there is no Atma, there is no consciousness. This is wrong because Atma exists independent of identification. Asangatvat Atmanaha. That means what? Independent of Adhyasa. Atma exists independent of Adhyasa on its own. Atma by its very nature is independent of Adhyasa. It has existence of its own. The consciousness of the Atman doesn't depend upon being conscious of the body, being conscious of an Atma. Purvapakshi took it this way. Consciousness is consciousness only when it is conscious of the body and other things. That means when you are conscious of the body, conscious of something else, conscious means while identification. Consciousness is a consciousness only when it's identified with the body. Only when it identifies with the body, identifies with the world, only when you are conscious of the world, then only consciousness. When you are not conscious of the body, not identify with the body, no consciousness at all. Purvapakshi told this. Siddhanti says, no, this is the basic mistake of you. This is the serious mistake of you. You have wrongly understood. Atma doesn't depend upon adhyasa. Atma doesn't depend upon its identification with the body. That means Atma's existence doesn't depend upon its identification with the body. Atma's existence is independent of its identification with the body. That means consciousness or the Sakshi remains without identifying with the body. Even when you are not conscious of the body, even when you don't identify with the body, still Atma exists. Consciousness exists. That means consciousness is a consciousness not only when it is conscious of the body, not only when it is conscious of an Atma, even when it is not conscious of an Atma. That means even there is no thought of any world, like in deep sleep. That means consciousness is not waking state alone, in short. Consciousness is not in waking state alone, consciousness is there. Purvapakshi told consciousness is consciousness only in the waking state. When you identify with the body, when you perceive the world, when you are aware of the world, then only consciousness is present. When you have no identification with the body, when you are not aware of the world, that means when you are not in the waking state, no consciousness at all. This is what Purvapakshi implied. Purvapakshi took this implication, stretched its implication to this. He told consciousness is or Atma is only when it is identified with the body. That means in waking state or in dream state. Atma is Atma only when it is identified with the waking body or dream body. That means Atma is Atma only as a waking person or as a dream person. Atma is an Atma only when it's a waking individuality or dream individuality. Atma, Purvapakshi told, Atma is Atma only when it is individual. When it is free from individuality, Atma doesn't exist. That was the Purvapakshi's implication. See, Siddhanti says Atma exists independent of its individuality. Okay? Even when it is not identified with the body, like in waking state. Even when it is not identified with the body, like in dream state. In dream state, Atma is an individual Atma. That is Jivatma. In waking, it is an individual Atma or a Jivatma. Atma need not be an individual. Even in the absence of individuality, independence of individuality, Atma exists on its own. That is Asanga. Atma is Asanga. By its very nature, it is Asanga. Asanga means uninvolved in, Asanga means not involved in Adhyasa. Asanga means uninvolved or untouched. Atma by its very nature is uninvolved in Adhyasa. That means Atma by its very nature is not touched by Anatma. It cannot be associated. It cannot be associated with. See, Asanga means what? It can't be associated with Anatma. Neither tentatively nor permanently. Neither tentatively nor permanently. Atma can be associated with Anatma, that is with the body or with the world or with another thing. Atma is by its very nature is uninvolved, detached, unassociated. Okay? Atma by its very nature is unassociated. It's Atma to be Atma. Atma to be consciousness doesn't require association of the body and mind and sense organs. It is totally independent, not tentatively, eternally. By its very nature, Atma by its very nature is independent. Atma's existence is independent of any adhyasa, any association. Not in its association with the body, not in its identification with the body. Atma doesn't depend upon its association with the body, identification with the body. Independent of identification, independent of association, like in deep sleep. See, in deep sleep, you exist. You see, look at yourself. Do you see yourself all the time in association with the body, in association with the mind? Do you see yourself only in association with the body? If without identification with the body, does Atma not exist? See, in the waking state, you are associated with the body, but the waking association with the waking body is dropped. You continue to exist in dream. That means what? Atma's continuity, Atma, the existence of the Atman continues even when the waking state, waking individuality is wiped out. Waking individuality is wiped out, set aside, Atma's existence continues. That means Atma exists independently even during the waking state, independent of the body consciousness, Atma can exist. Atma exists independent of the body consciousness even in the waking state. That means even when the body appears to be there, Atma is untouched, unassociated, uninvolved with the waking body. Okay? That means you take the whole wakeful consciousness. Wakeful, not the waking body's consciousness. See, when we say waking state, we generally take identification with the waking body alone. When we say wakeful consciousness or wakefulness, take it. Wakefulness or waking consciousness means what? We generally take consciousness of the body, identification with the body. Being an individual alone is consciousness. I tell you, in the entire wakeful consciousness, the waking body also is within the wakeful consciousness. Waking body, the waking world, the waking mind, the entire waking time, space, everything is within the wakeful consciousness. Waking consciousness is spreading widely. It is pervading the entire waking state. It is not a part of the waking state. Waking body means what? Identifying with the waking body means what? Identifying with the waking body means you are one part of the waking state. You are within the waking state. You are one part of the waking state. One place you are located in the waking state. Identification with the waking body means what? Identification with the body means you are limited. You are an individual. Atma is individual. Consciousness is individual. That means you are located within the waking state. You are present within waking state. You are a part of waking state. I tell you here, you watch it, that the location in the waking state is a part of the wakeful consciousness. Wakeful consciousness is not located in the state. State is in the waking consciousness. The entire waking world, the entire space and time is within the waking consciousness. Wakeful consciousness has no location. Watch it. Wakeful consciousness is not located in the waking state. Waking state is in the wakeful consciousness, because consciousness pervades the entire waking state. See, where does the waking consciousness exist? See, where is the waking consciousness? Where is the wakefulness? Is the waking consciousness located within the waking state? Located within the waking state? Located is the body. It is the body that is located in the state. It is the body that is present in the time and place, isn't it? The sense of location, the sense of individuality is through the body. Sense of individuality is through the body. So the body and the sense of individuality, both are within the waking state, but the state as a whole is wakeful consciousness. See, make this distinction. Make this discrimination very clear. The whole wakeful consciousness is not located, because the whole waking consciousness is aware of the entire world. Just as it illumines, just as it is conscious of the world, it is conscious of the waking body. Just as it is conscious of the world, it is conscious of the body. Body and the world put together, it is conscious of the state as a one. As one state, as together, including the body, it is conscious of the entire world. The worldly objects and the body, both the wakeful consciousness is aware of. Wakeful consciousness is not associated with the body alone. It is the whole state. It is aware of the entire state. Therefore, it cannot be limited to one body alone. Body and the remaining world, both are within the waking state. Watch. Body and the remaining world, both are within the wakeful consciousness. Wakeful consciousness pervades the entire state. When are you awake? Tell me. When are you conscious? When are you wakeful? When is your wakefulness? While sitting, you are wakeful. You are standing wakeful. You are eating wakeful. You are talking, you are wakeful. Tell me, when is the wakeful consciousness? In and through all your waking activities. In and through all your waking experiences. in and through all your waking knowledges. Knowledges through your eyes, knowledge through your ears, knowledge through your touch, with all your 5 sense organs. Whatever you see, whatever you perceive with all your 5 sense organs, in and through all your knowledges, the wakeful consciousness is there. So the wakeful consciousness is so pervading, so all-pervasive. See, wakeful consciousness is not located. It is the body. Identification with the body makes you feel that you are located within the body. Identification with the body. That means taking the consciousness as equal to body. Identification with means what? Taking the consciousness as limited to the body. Taking the consciousness as associated with the body, as equal to the body, makes you feel located within the waking state. Okay, I am within the waking state. I am located in one part. I am located in one place of the waking state. This thought makes you that the consciousness is equal to body. Consciousness is in the location of the body. Consciousness is limited to the body. But you watch a little more closely, little more deeply, as the Shastra helps you to understand. Body is within the consciousness. Consciousness is not limited to the body. Body is conscious of the consciousness is aware of the body. Consciousness is conscious of the body, the edges of the body. You see the tip of the body, tip of the hand and finger, it extends beyond the body. It extends, so the consciousness is conscious of the entire body and also extend even to the world. The wakeful consciousness is aware of the body and the location of the body. Location of the body also is within wakeful consciousness. Note, this is important. Wakeful consciousness is not located within the waking state. It is the wakeful, the very wakeful consciousness, the waking consciousness, the very wakefulness means entire wakefulness. Entire, it is not located. Body is within wakeful consciousness. Time is within consciousness, within the wakeful consciousness. Space is within the wakeful consciousness. Wakeful consciousness has no location. It is unlocated. It is independent. You cannot think of location for the entire waking consciousness. Waking body has location. Okay? Waking body is located. Waking body is located. The entire wakeful consciousness is not located in the state. Entire state is within the wakeful consciousness. Wakeful consciousness pervades the state and remains independent because it is not located within the state. Okay, therefore Atma is Asanga. This one word Asanga is beautiful. I think if you want to understand Vedanta, this one word Atma is Asanga is enough. Asangoyam Atma. Asangaha is one word you do manana. This is Shravana. This one word is enough for Shravana. One word is enough for manana. One word is enough for nididhyasana. One word is enough for understanding the Atma. Okay. Therefore, Asanga means Atma is, Purvapakshi told, Atma is Atma only when it is associated with the body. That means only when you are an individual. Only when you are a Pramata. Okay. Only when you are a Pramata, Atma is there. Without the association with the Anatma, Atma doesn't exist. In the absence of identification with the body, when you are not identified with the body, Atma has no existence. Conscious has no existence. This is what Purvapakshi told. It's totally wrong. It is against our Anubhava. You look at your Anubhava. What does your Anubhava say? Consciousness is not always limited to body alone, not limited to the location, not identified with the body. Body is within consciousness. Consciousness, that is the entire wakeful consciousness, can remain detached from the body, unassociated with the body, not conscious of the body, not identified with the body, because body is part of the state. Entire state consciousness is aware of. Consciousness pervades the entire state. Consciousness is not located in the state. Entire state is consciousness. Okay, entire waking is consciousness. What do we generally think as consciousness? Consciousness is not individual. Consciousness is the entire state. Okay, the entire wakeful state is consciousness. Just a minute. Okay. So the consciousness is, Purvapakshi told, if Atma is adhyastha upon the Anatma, if consciousness is imposed upon the body means what? Taking consciousness as an individualized consciousness. Taking consciousness as identify with the body. Taking consciousness as located in the avastha with the body. Located within the state. Taking consciousness as located within the state. As associated with the body. As limited to the body. As circumscribed by the body. As in associated with the body alone. This is individual consciousness. This is jiva. This is pramatrutvam. This is individuality, karta bhokta. But consciousness by itself, the existence of Atma is not limited to the body. Body is known in the consciousness. Body is known, the edges of the body, the borders of the body, and the entire body along with the world. The body and the remaining, the body and the rest, both are simultaneously known by the consciousness. Consciousness knows the body, the location is space. Now is the time. Body, consciousness, the entire wakeful consciousness knows the time. That means what? Consciousness is not located in the time. Time is in the wakeful consciousness. Consciousness is not existing within as located in time. The time is known to the consciousness. Consciousness is not located at a place. That means consciousness is no location. Location is within the wakeful consciousness. Body is within the wakeful consciousness. Wakeful consciousness goes beyond the body, beyond the location. Therefore, it pervades the entire state. Entire state is the wakeful consciousness. Wakeful consciousness has no boundary. Wakeful consciousness has no limitation. Okay? All the worldly things, experiences of the mind, all the emotions are within the wakeful consciousness. All the thoughts, all the ideas, all the ideologies, all the ideas and thoughts are within the wakeful consciousness. Wakeful consciousness is not limited to one thought, any given thought, or two thoughts, or many thoughts. Wakeful consciousness is not limited to any one thought. All the thoughts appear and disappear within the wakeful consciousness. Okay. All the emotions arise and disappear within the wakeful consciousness. Wakeful consciousness is so vast. So vast. It encompasses all the emotions. It is not limited to any given emotion. It is not limited to the body, because body is known to the consciousness. Consciousness pervades the entire wakeful state. Entire waking state. Therefore, Atma is Asanga. How beautiful it is. Atma is Asanga means what? Atma is not located. Atma is not individualized. Consciousness is not individualized. The very idea of individuality is within consciousness, isn't it? Consciousness has no location, no circumscription, no location, no limitation, because consciousness cannot be thought of. Thought is within consciousness. Consciousness cannot be thought of. The size of consciousness, location of consciousness, time of consciousness. You can't think of consciousness in terms of time. You can't think of consciousness as if located in space. Consciousness cannot be thought as a located. In fact, location is within consciousness. Okay, location is within wakeful consciousness. Consciousness is dimensionless. You cannot think of dimension of the consciousness. Dimension is a thought. Thought is within consciousness. Thought is within wakeful consciousness. Okay, wakeful consciousness has no dimension. All dimensions is all thoughts. All dimensions are only thoughts. All sizes, all dimensions, locations, all are within the wakeful consciousness. Wakeful consciousness has no dimension, no location. Therefore, it is beyond time. Time is within wakeful consciousness. Space is within wakeful consciousness. Body is within wakeful consciousness. Wakeful consciousness is not located, is not limited to the body, is not bound to the size of the body, because it has no dimension. It has no self-image. So you have a self-image as an individual. Through the body you have a self-image. Individual has self-image. Consciousness has no self-image. Conscious has no self-image. Individuality has a self-image. In fact, individuality is self-image. Self-image is individuality. But consciousness has no self-image. Therefore, it has no dimension. I am this, I am like this, I am this much. You have no thought of yourself. But you are conscious. Consciousness is there without being I. I am like this. Without any self-image, there is consciousness. The whole entire wakeful consciousness is free from self-image, is free from location, free from individuality. Entire wakeful consciousness is free from individuality. Entire wakeful consciousness is free from location, free from dimension. Okay? This is called asangaha. Every word you have to do manana until you see it in your life, until you see it your anubhava. Until then you should not leave it. That is manana. Take word meaning and concept meaning and okay, understood and proceed. If you go like that, you will become a scholar, but you won't understand. So therefore, asanga. What is asanga? The very consciousness by its very nature, asanga, means consciousness cannot be imposed. Asanga means what? Consciousness cannot be imposed upon the anatma. Consciousness cannot be identified with anatma. That means you can't have a bodily, you can't make it an individual consciousness. Consciousness cannot be made into an individual. Consciousness cannot have a dimension. Consciousness cannot have an image. That means consciousness or the Atma is asanga. Atma doesn't have adhyasa and it cannot have adhyasa. This is simple. Abba, how beautiful. One word asanga removes adhyasa and makes you see that you are already sakshi. You are Advaita Atma. You are dimensionless consciousness. Dimensionless is Brahman. What is Brahman? The word Brahman in Sanskrit means without dimension. Limitless, dimensionless. Okay, so the consciousness has to be released from the location. That is called Viveka. The wakeful consciousness is not located in the waking state. Note this. Waking state means the body is the part of the world. Wakeful consciousness is not a part of the world, is not a part of a waking state. Wakeful consciousness or the waking consciousness is not a part of the waking world. The part is all the various parts, all the various objects are within the wakeful consciousness. It is so simple and straight. Atmajnanam is very easy. See this, how easy it is. It is straight and simple. Therefore, Asangatvad Atmanaha, this one word of Swamiji, how beautiful it is. Asangatvad Atmanaha, Atma by its very nature is dimensionless. It cannot be associated. It can't be involved with Anatma. Cannot be associated, cannot be identified, cannot be related. Identified means cannot be identified, cannot be equated with the body. Consciousness or the Atma's existence doesn't depend upon the bodily existence. Atma exists without being associated with the body. Even if the body cannot be thought of, still Atma exists. Atma, that means consciousness. Consciousness exists. Consciousness need not be thought of as a body. It doesn't need a self-image. Without a self-image, wakeful consciousness exists. Because it exists the entire way, it illumines the entire waking state. Entire waking state, it has no dimension. All other experiences come and go. Emotions within the wakeful consciousness come and go. Body consciousness comes and goes. Bodily dimensions, bodily dimension, okay, the border of the body, parts of the body are within the consciousness. Each part of the body, you watch hand is within consciousness. Left hand is within consciousness. Right hand is within wakeful consciousness. Your right leg is within wakeful consciousness. Left leg is within wakeful consciousness. Okay. Your chest is within wakeful consciousness. Back is within wakeful consciousness. Waist is within wakeful consciousness. Thighs are within wakeful consciousness. Legs are within wakeful consciousness. Your entire body is head to, what you call, top to leg. That means toe to the head. The entire body is within the wakeful consciousness. Wakeful consciousness cannot be limited to the body. Okay? Therefore, wakeful consciousness is not located in the waking state. Waking state is within the wakeful consciousness. Wakeful consciousness is a wrong expression, I think. Waking consciousness or wakefulness. One is enough, any one is enough. Just for sake of clarity, though the English looks odd English, I know it's a wrong English, but I'm just using for sake of clarity. Okay, so the wakefulness or the waking consciousness. In fact, waking itself means consciousness. Okay, so even the mind, waking is not limited to the mind. Mind, let us take two, emotion and the thought. Consciousness is not limited to any one emotion. Various emotions, painful emotions, pleasant emotions, good emotions, bad emotions, deep emotions, superficial emotions, deeply sticking emotions, all the emotions are within the consciousness. No emotion sticks to consciousness. Entire wakefulness, entire waking consciousness. No emotion sticks like a mirror. Consciousness is like a mirror. Nothing sticks to the mirror. Okay? No reflection sticks to the mirror. All emotions are like reflections within the mirror. All emotions within the consciousness, within the wakeful consciousness, are like the reflections within the mirror. No reflection, whatever color, even if there is a wet cloth reflected, wet cloth or a cloth drenched in the blood, you may see the red in the mirror, but they don't touch the mirror. Okay? The cloth drenched in the blood, reflected in the mirror, but it doesn't touch the mirror. Mirror remains totally untouched. Asangaha. Mirror is asangaha. Similarly, consciousness is untouched by the body, bodily qualities, bodily dimensions. Emotions, painful emotions, pleasant emotions, deep emotions or superficial emotion, tentative emotion or little long lasting emotion. All emotions come and go. They don't stick to the consciousness. There is no painful consciousness. Have you experienced painful consciousness? Painfulness is within consciousness, but consciousness is not painful. Okay? There is no painful consciousness. Painfulness is illumined by the consciousness. It appears within consciousness. Consciousness knows it, but it doesn't touch the consciousness. Pain doesn't touch the consciousness. Okay? Anger comes. Anger is within consciousness. There is no anger consciousness. Okay? There is no angry consciousness. Anger is known within consciousness. The entire wakeful consciousness is like a mirror, untouched by emotions, painful emotions, anger, desire, frustration, painfulness, honor, all these things. So the various emotions, good and bad, you are elevated, pleasant. Elevated means you become rejoicing. The rejoicing is also, the depressed also. All this is within wakeful consciousness. Wakeful consciousness is untouched. The entire wakeful consciousness is untouched by any object, any body, any emotions. The size of the body, color of the body, gender of the body doesn't touch the wakeful consciousness. Wakefulness has no gender. Body has a gender. Whether male or female, it pertains to the body. Consciousness is no male consciousness, female consciousness. See, whole wakefulness is neither male nor female. Okay? It is the body is male, female or neuter. Transgender, they call it. The consciousness, wakefulness has no gender. Wakefulness has no color. Wakefulness has no image, self-image, no dimension. Wakefulness is free from dimension. All dimensions are imagined within consciousness. All dimensions are imagined within consciousness. Consciousness itself has no dimension, like mirror or like space. You can imagine various shapes and sizes within space. Space itself has no dimension, no shape, no size. See the space? What is the size of the space? What is the dimension of the space? Even the very thought of dimension is within space. Space itself can't have dimension. Similarly, consciousness itself has no dimension. Then no emotions, no thoughts also. Various thoughts of distance, thoughts of time, thought of space, thought of counting. Numbers you can count. Numbers is a thought. Space is a thought. Space means a spatial relationship is a thinking. Time relations means previous and later, before and after. Before and later, this relation of time is also within consciousness. Consciousness cannot be consciousness. There is no previous consciousness and later consciousness. The very thought of previous and later, the very thought of sequence is within consciousness. Consciousness has no sequence. Sequence is a thought within wakeful consciousness. Okay, wakeful consciousness is free from all these things. Therefore, the wakeful consciousness is independent of even the waking state. Therefore, asangaha. Okay, asangohi asangatvad atmanaha. This is important point. Therefore, I spent so much of time on this one point because it is important. This is very center of the Vedanta. Therefore, but we have only first sentence we have touched. I tell you, this discussion 1.5 pages we have to discuss. We will take few weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. Okay. Now that today is time up, we'll discuss in the next class. But you understand how Atma is Asanga. If once you understand it, you are free, eternally free. Ever free. Why eternal? Always free. You are ever free. Only your angle of looking has to be shifted from the body to the Atma. Your bodily angle drop off, you are already consciousness. The entire consciousness of the waking state. Okay, asangasyad atmanah. When Atma is asanga, it can't be involved in adhyasa. It can't be identified with the body. It can't be associated with the body. It can't be imagined as equal to body, as an image of the body, or the size of the body, or the qualities of the body. It can't be associated. Atma is free from adhyasa. No adhyasa is possible with the consciousness. How beautiful it is. Okay. You keep doing manana. We will continue it in the next class. Okay, it is 12 o'clock. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat.